Hmm? Oh, look, a small Rahi who seemingly wants to befriend me. Now that I think about it, Takua had a Pedusil crab. Maybe I could join the club! Come here, buddy! Sucker! Now you get to carry the cannon. Have fun!
Hello everyone and welcome to the recap review. Today we're looking over set number 8911, Toa Mari Jaller. The set contains approximately 68 pieces, was released in summer of 2007, and the time of release was approximately $10. Oh boy, things have changed for you, Jaller. First you were the captain of the guard, then you were the leader of the Toa Anika with the cool lightning powers, and now you're the crab whisperer. Okay, well, now that we've successfully messed that one up, let's get right into the review. But first, a comparison, considering Jaller is part of a set lineage. Lineage of Jallers. So here we have Jaller Mari, released in 2007, obviously, and Jaller Anika, released in 2006. So, the differences are fairly apparent, however, their similarities are as well. The sets are surprisingly quite alike. Not a whole lot has changed. In fact, if you take away the tubes, the headpiece, the mask, the chest armor, these things, and replace some of the colors, you'd have pretty much the exact same build. Nearly no difference whatsoever. Their leg builds are the same, their arms are the same, except for their upper shoulder armor. They have different torso and masks, armor-wise. And of course, the color schemes themselves. Jaller Mari opts for the same dark Metru red, however switches out his translucent orange for solid orange, with some black accents to look kind of like gloves or, black socks or cowboy pants or something. So, while Jaller Anika is a fairly standardized looking set, Jaller Mari takes the standardization and customizes it a little bit. With some, I guess, crab armor? I don't know. The crab mask? Something that is really neat to note is that Jaller Mari's mask does work very well with his armor. It's very identical stylistically, with the whole arch and the holes and whatnot. That's really neat. And I must say, it is nice to see Jaller Mari's mask looking like it does, instead of like he wants to stupidly practice law. Get it? Get it? TTV fans will get it? You'll get it, yeah. As far as weaponry goes, they both still have swords. Something to note, Jaller Mari has a silver blade as opposed to the gold one that shoots green stuff from the prior year. As far as the blaster is concerned, while Jaller Anika has his standard Zamor launcher right there, Jaller Mari has the new Kordak blaster sitting on a nice new Hana crab, which I don't think he ever named. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the comparison. They're both very interesting sets, and surprisingly quite alike. But we're here to review Jaller Mari. So let's jump right into the pros and the cons, starting off with a disclaimer. Just because something is here, or I say a pro or a con, does not necessarily mean I agree with it. If you hear me explicitly tell you that I disagree or agree with any one given point made, then I will let you know. Every point I do make is not always from my desk. There are often things that I've heard in the community over the years since a set has been released, or things I have personally observed and can replicate here. So, unless you hear me say otherwise, assume it's an objective standpoint that I have heard. Thank you very much. Let's get on with the review. Starting off the pros. Right off the bat, standard amount of articulation, which is always nice to see. Standard 3 in the arms, 3 in the legs, and 1 in the head. And I guess we have an additional 3, if you want to count the little Hana crab here. 2 for its legs that go, and 1 for the Kordak blaster goes. Another pro would be his color scheme, which is not only very consistent, but one we have not seen very often in the past. Granted, we have seen it. The most notable example that comes to mind being, what's his name, Votarak? No, that's the Rakshi. The Red Vizorak, containing Metro Red, Solid Orange, and Black, with smidgens of Matte Red and Lime Green, or Neon Green, or what have you. Another pro would be the new pieces, which we do get. We get this new crab chest piece here. We get the Kordak Blaster, and all of these really nice Kordak rounds. Kordak, what are they called? Rockets? Yeah, I believe that's it. We get the new mask, which is the Kanohi Arthron, the Mask of Sonar. And we also get this little piece right here in orange, and we're going to be seeing that a lot more in the future. We also get the nice new tubes and his beautiful power sword. I think that's what it's called. You guys are going to correct me, I know. Thank you much for that. As far as other pros go, it would probably have to be his launcher attached to his crab. Now, many of the Toanika do have a unique way of holding their blaster. Kongu has two. Huki has his in his arm. Jaller isn't holding his at all. His is a crab named Hana Crab. This little bugger deserves a smidge review of his own. Right off the bat, the pros are he's actually quite adorable for a little companion. Something you'd probably see in a game more than anything else. Yep, there Jaller goes. So, he's quite fun looking. He's a very small build, not very complex, but, really neat to look at. Very consistent color scheme. Matches a Kordak Blaster actually very well, aside from the red, which is nice to see. As far as balance is concerned, don't. I mean, he won't. You can't do it. Now, you could do it if you did this, I guess, but then he leans forward. You did, this. No, that doesn't work. Bottom line, the best way to do it is to shove the Kordak Blaster all the way to the front. And even then you get mixed results. So his balance is a con. Do not try and balance him, it's not going to work out very well. But he is small, he's a lot of fun. He doesn't do a whole lot except hold the Kordak Blaster, which brings us to our other pro, the Kordak Blaster. The Kordak Revolving Blaster comes with 6 rounds, and it's an air-powered launcher. What you do, take these 2 fingers and this 1 thumb, put it like this, and push as hard and fast as you can. That's all this one's going to do. 2 rounds. So, the majority of the time, it should work for you. However, if you get water in it, or you get dust in it, friction is going to cause it to be a little bit less pleasing as far as operation is concerned. Another pro would be the fact that he does hold his launcher in a unique way, and that he isn't exactly a clone set from the other Toamari. He's different, quite different in fact. Now, we see this as being a very standard build, being the Anika build. However, he is separate from a good majority of the other Toamari. And finally, as far as pros are concerned, the mask looks fantastic. It's nice, very even melding of orange and red, and it looks really neat. And we're going to see this design a lot more in the future, specifically with the Protectors 2015, but as far as the 2007 mask is concerned, I really do like how this looks. That is a personal opinion. The sword is also really neat. So that pretty much sums up all the general pros. There isn't a whole lot to say. He's a very standard set, being the Anika build, and a very basic Anika build at that. However, he does look very solid. The color scheme is very consistent, and it's not one we've often seen, but it's always one that's enjoyable to see. The weaponry, while still plain and simple for a Toe of Fire, is also really cool, specifically the sword and how it looks, the mask, his overall theme and the armor, and his just general look. That is really nice to see. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the cons. What makes this set a little bit less worth going back to get? Well, right off the bat, he is an Anika build, and a very basic one at that. If you did do anything with the Anika, or any of the very simple Baraki in late 2006, early 2007, this guy will be a very boring build for you, because you've already done it plenty of times so far. He literally does not diverge from the simple, a basic Anika formula at all, except for his armor. That is about it. As far as other cons are concerned, his head movement is limited, specifically due to his arrangement here, his mask, his armor, and the tubes. Now up, that's fine. Down, not so much. Side to side, you can manage. But it does seem a little constrained and not as free as many would like it to be. Other cons would be the large gappiness right in his torso right here due to his chest armor. That is quite unfortunate. All the gaps here. And the Kodak blaster, the Kodak rocket sticking out of his back. Now, most of the Anika came with 6 in the barrel and 3 as extras, and Jaller is no exception. But he has 3 of them sticking right out of the back. It creates some really odd platforms, and because it's a bright red, as in comparison to his dark red, it does contrast, and some would argue not in a very good way. Other cons would include the blue pins, which do stick out and contrast very poorly. However, some may in fact argue that it does cooperate with the eyes of the Hannah crab, which, what have you. Speaking of the Hannah crab, that is also a con. Because of that, it's very difficult to have any solid play value with this arrangement here. Because the Hannah crab is just going to fly all around, and if you're trying to swish Jaller around the room, you have the Hannah crab kind of flailing about like some sort of medieval weapon. Fortunately, his balance is also very poor, that being another great con. I do definitely think that this set would have benefited if they had done the set in a way similar to the animations, where the Hannah crab was on Jaller's back or could attach to his back, and he was just able to hold his blaster here. Now, it is still possible to hold the blaster, and it's actually very possible to stick the Hannah crab on the back of Jaller. I do not know how personally, but it can be done. So that effectively sums up the majority of the cons. Now, there aren't a whole lot, don't get me wrong, but they basically sum up as he has a few gaps. He's a very simplistic build from what we understand as simplistic in the sense after the Anika build, and the Hannah crab is a little bit unorthodox. Its balance is very poor, and you're going to have a difficult time actively playing with the set or trying to enact some sort of fight scene without the Hannah crab awkwardly being a third wheel. Be it that the case though, Jaller looks fantastic. Even if he's simple, he does a good job executing the character itself and being what he's supposed to be. And that's really great. Jaller, leader of the Toamari, transformed to a Toamari after the Toa Anika exited the cord into the waters of Mari Nui. Thank you, Mask of Life. You gave him a cool sword. That pretty much sums things up. That has been my review of Toamari Jaller. What do you guys think? Do you like Jaller? Do you disagree with me? Let me know either in the comments below or in the TTV message boards. And if I've messed up, missed anything, or you feel I should have mentioned something, please let me know in the 2 aforementioned places. Join me next week when I go over the one, the only, the athletic Hookie with no hand. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.